Have you ever noticed your blood sugar numbers rising? And it wasn't the food. You ate the same breakfast, you drink the same water, you follow the same routine, but your numbers were higher and you couldn't explain it. Before we go further, let me say this clearly. I am not a doctor. I am not providing medical advice. I am sharing lived experience, wellness education, and practical insights for navigating type 2 diabetes in real life. Please consult your healthcare provider for medical guidance specific for you. Now, let me ask you again. Have you ever noticed your blood sugar rising and it wasn't from food? Maybe your fasting numbers are higher on workdays. Maybe your post-meal numbers spike more Monday through Friday. Maybe on your days off, your numbers feel calmer and you start blaming yourself. I must have eaten something wrong. I didn't move enough. I messed up. The thoughts that we start to say to ourselves. But what if it's just not the food? What if your job is medically expensive? Today, we are starting a 5-series on how career stress can affect your blood sugar and how to transition wisely without damaging your health in the process. This is not about quitting emotional. This is not about quitting emotionally. This is about awareness first. Step 1, acknowledge the impact. Let's break this down simply. When you are stressed, your body releases cortisol. Cortisol is a survival hormone. It prepares your body to deal with danger. One of the ways it prepares you is by increasing glucose in your bloodstream because your body believes you need quick energy to fight or flee. These are my personal experiences. The problem is most of us is not running from physical danger. What are we doing? We're answering escalated calls, managing unrealistic metrics, responding to urgent emails, working under surveillance dashboards, trying to meet productivity targets, dealing with difficult leadership. But our bodies, they don't know the difference between a tiger approaching and workplace toxicity. Because stress is stress. So if you're in a chronic stressful role, your body may be releasing cortisol throughout the entire day. And cortisol signals your liver to release glucose, stored glucose. Following me? So what does this all mean? It means even if your meals did not change, even if your carb intake stayed consistent, even if you followed your plan, your blood sugar can still rise because your nervous system is on high alert. Now, let's layer this with sleep. If job stress follows you home, if you replay conversations in your head, if you wake up thinking about work, sleep deprivation alone can increase insulin resistance. So now you have elevated cortisol, reduced sleep quality, and higher insulin resistance. and you're blaming yourself for a number. Sometimes it's not discipline, it's environment. And recognizing that can reduce shame immediately. Now let's talk about mental load. If you work in the following: customer service, healthcare systems, high pressure corporate roles, almost lost my thought there, call centers, performance-based environments, constant monitoring environments, you may not even realize how much adrenaline, tongue tie guys, our body cycles throughout the day. Sometimes we gotta just slow down. Call timers, escalations, angry customers, productivity quotas, matrix dashboards, schedule instability. Your nervous system rarely gets to settle. And if your nervous system doesn't get to settle, your glucose will not either. Or let me say, may not. Then there's emotional eating. Yeah, it's real. After a mentally exhausting day, you don't just want food, you want relief. You want quiet, you want comfort, you want something that feels good after something that has drained you earlier. That's not weakness in some cases. That's biology. Truth is, by the end of the day, your willpower is lower. Your body's tired. Your brain is fatigued. That's when you skip your walk. You skip meal prep. And you snack without thinking. Not because you don't care, but because you're depleted. Some positions are not just professionally draining, they are metabolically draining. And that is a real conversation for us who lives with type 2 diabetes. So before you pivot careers, before you update your resume, before you send out applications, you gather your data, not drama, data, for the next 2 to 3 weeks and observe. What are your fasting numbers on work days compared to your off days? What are your post-meal readings after high conflict shifts? How is your sleep after stressful days? Do you crave more sugar after emotional, intense work days? Do your numbers improve if you're on vacation or extended leave? Write it down. Track patterns. Not to judge yourself, but to take notice. If your glucose numbers consistently rise during specific work conditions, that's information worth knowing. If your stress spikes correlates with your glucose spikes, that's worth knowing, because awareness removes shame. Instead of I'm failing, it becomes my environment may be impacting my health. That shift alone reduces internal pressure. You cannot transition wisely if you are still dismissing the impact. You cannot protect your pancreas if you refuse to acknowledge the stress on it. And this is not fear-based. This is simply stewardship, because peace is part of management. In part 2, we're going to do an audit of your stress triggers. And not just I'm stressed, but specifically what part of your job activates your nervous system. Is it call volume? Is it micromanagement? Lack of control? Unpredictable schedules? Or emotional labor? In part 3, we will identify how to transfer your current skills into lower stress lanes. Because sometimes you don't need a new career, you need a new environment. In part 4, we will build a transition plan that does not spike your anxiety, because leaving recklessly can add additional stress. And in part 5, we'll talk about executing the exit strategically and safely. And this will be done financially and medically correct. This series is about this truth. You don't just protect your income, you protect your health. You don't just manage your food, you manage your stress. And if you're living with type 2 diabetes, peace is not an option. It is part of your wellness strategy. Protect your peace, protect your numbers. I'll see you in part 2.